Hello everyone, welcome to our first sitting together, to our first sharing. So today I want to introduce you to the technique we're going to use. As I mentioned in our introduction, my interest has been since the beginning the early Buddhist texts, and I was lucky enough to meet different teachers that were acquainted with this text and also with the techniques presenting in them. As I said before, we're going to share Anapanasati, or as it's usually known, Mindfulness of Breathing. I do like to use the literal translation of sati as remembrance, and this is actually a practice that makes sense to me because you're actually remembering your breathing as we go through the exercise. So this exercise you can find, as I mentioned, in one of the earliest Buddhist texts that is accepted by all the traditions of Buddhist traditions as being the words of the Buddha. So here in this text you can find the Anapanasati discourse, where the Buddha explains detailedly the 16 steps of practice where you focus on your breathing, but you go through deeper and deeper states of investigating your breathing, feelings, emotions, thoughts, and so forth, so that we eventually know the natural workings of them. I will be sending you the text and also a summary, a table with the 16 steps for you to easily remember. It's easy to find it online, so I also send you the link so you can find it in different languages. So these 16 steps of mindfulness of breathing or remembrance of breathing actually cover the whole path. This text describes how the 16 steps of mindfulness of breathing actually cover the 4 foundations of mindfulness, of the body, sensations, thoughts, and processes. So these 4 foundations of mindfulness are widely known now, and they are being taught all around the world. These 16 steps are supposed to cover, and the evidence in the text says that they cover the 4 foundations of mindfulness and actually covers the whole path. So by practicing Anapanasati, you are practicing the whole path laid down by the Buddha as the path of practice. So we will be doing this with a progression of steps. So every time we will start in step 1 and we'll be moving forward to this 16th step, right? So we will be doing 4 different tetrads. Each of these tetrads focus in a different element. The first tetrad, or the first 4 steps, are concerned with the breathing and the body. The second tetrad will be concerning feelings or sensations in the body. The third tetrad will be concerning thoughts and the mind. And the fourth tetrad will be concerning emotions and all the processes related with the mind and the body, so you can naturally see as they arise and they cease. So why the breathing? The breathing is connected to life. Without breathing, there's no life. There is a saying that you can survive for 7 days without food, 7 weeks without food, 7 days without water, but just 7 minutes without air. Throughout your course, you will be learning a lot of the different breathing techniques when you do your pranayama techniques and practices. So you can also research about the power of the breathing. There's many modern research about this, for example, the Wim Hof method and so forth. So I will invite you to discover what does the breathing do to your body and to your mind. So now let's get into more practical aspects, okay? So first of all, if you have some time before sitting to do any kind of practice where you activate your body, when you lubricate your joints, that's very advisable, because then you will feel more comfortable when you sit, right? So second of all, it's sitting itself. So this is one of the most common sitting positions, but you can also do half lotus or full lotus if your flexibility allows. If you are able to get a hold on a hard cushion, this will help you if you're not flexible enough to sit like this, right? So if you find a cushion, you can put it on your sitting bones and make sure that this helps you to have your straight back, right? So I do want to tell you that you don't need to be too tense or too stressed about being really, really tight. If you've been sitting in a different way for a long, long time, it's just normal that your body will tend to bend or to adjust to its former position. So be kind to yourself and just train progressively so that you can sit more comfortably like this. But if you have any problems in your hips, in your knees, or in your back and you need to use a chair, please do. If you need to lay down, please do. You can also do this by standing up. So I think and I understand that the Buddha taught that meditation is throughout the day. So throughout the day, you're just not sitting. You also walk, you might be jumping, you might be talking. So we need to be able to practice this in all positions. So please, and I will be insisting on this, don't think that you're not able to practice because you didn't have time to sit, because you are supposed to be able to practice throughout the day. So that takes me to the other tip, which is take this sitting as our gym. This is our gym where we train our minds. So if you have time to sit, that's amazing, that's great, and do cultivate some time for sitting. Because the concentration stages that you will reach by sitting calmly in a quiet place might be very different from what you can reach in terms of concentration when you practice your mind cultivation throughout the day, when working, when talking, walking, etc. Right? So, sitting comfortably, if you have some time to stretch or to activate the body before that, and being kind that you're not supposed to be like a robot, stiff, but just straight and calm so you can practice more comfortably. Okay, so I will be insistent, as I said, meditation is supposed to be throughout the day, not only when sitting. So the third thing I want to mention is that I am not a fan of timers, because we have a limited amount of time and we're going to have to go through different stages. We are going to be using a timer, and we are going to be using a timer longer and longer throughout our course, but please do not take care about it. If you need, you can set up a timer, and this will eventually maybe help you to devote more time to concentration practice, but also be careful because the mind is very tricky. So if you get your mind used to a certain amount of time, then that's not going to be very useful for your day-to-day life. So put aside the timer and practice as long as you can at the moment, and progressively you will be able to make longer and longer sessions. Okay? So once you are sitting comfortably, there are many different ways to start. So one of those ways to start is something that we call the coming back to the senses. So once you are sitting, you can actually just remember that you are able to see, that there are shapes and forms and colors, that you are able to listening, to smell, to taste, to feel the touch in your body, and to think and be aware of this process. Okay? So this coming back to the senses, you can do it anytime, anywhere. Just sit comfortably and go back to your senses, to where you are at the moment, and that will help you calm down, hopefully, and observe things more calmly. So once you're sitting comfortably and straight, the Buddha advised to set up your right intention. So this right intention means seclusion of the mind, which is not literally to be alone sitting in a cave or in the top of a mountain, but to be secluded in your thoughts, secluded from thoughts of greed, of hatred or ill will, and confusion or delusion. So you set up the intention to yourself, this time is going to be some time for my practice, and I'm going to try to put the worries away. So I'm going to set up the timer just out of practical issues, and we're going to focus in the first 4 steps. So the first 4 steps are concerned with the body. So you can keep your eyes open if you want, but try not to be distracted and looking around. Maybe you can set up some area of sight. Setting your right intention. And deciding that you're going to put attention to your breathing. So you're going to feel the air touching somewhere in your nose when it comes in, and you're going to feel the air touching when it goes out. So that you know when you're breathing in, and you know when you're breathing out. So I invite you to examine, to get to know, to get familiar with your breathing. How is your breathing at this moment? How are you breathing in and how are you breathing out? Is your in-breath long or short? Tense or relaxed? Just get to know your breathing in and breathing out. If you feel more comfortable, you can close your eyes. And breathe in and out, aware of your breathing. Now let your in-breath become long and deep, so that your belly expands relaxedly. And your chest expands. Without pushing, without forcing, you let your in-breath become long. And you let your out-breath become long and deep, getting lower into your belly and waist and hips, expanding the belly, expanding the chest. And breathing out long and relaxed. And I invite you to investigate, how do you feel when you breathe this way? Set your attention in the air, touching in and touching out. And investigate, get familiar, and study your long breath. What happens if you breathe this way? Remembering you're breathing in long, breathing out long. And if your mind wanders away, think about other things. It doesn't matter. Just notice that thinking and go back to the air touching your nose and breathing in long and breathing out long. I invite you now to investigate what happens if you breathe in and out short. Not rushing, not forcing, but get to know what happens if you breathe in and out this way. Air touching in, air touching out. Concentrating in your breathing, short. Let your breathing get to its normal flow. And also investigate what's the difference between breathing in and out long and short and just letting it go. Breathe in and out, sensitive to your whole body. Feeling your head, your eyebrows, your eyes, nose, cheeks, ears, mouth, tongue, chin, neck, upper back, chest, shoulders, arms, forearms, hands and fingers, chest rising and falling, belly, lower back, hips and pelvis, your thighs and knees and calves and feet and toes. Breathing in, aware of the whole body. Breathing out, aware of the whole body. How does your body feel at this moment after this breathing? Are there any tensions, pains? Breathe in, aware of the body. Breathe out, aware of the body. Slowly, slowly come back. You can open your eyes and come back to your senses. Objects are back, colors are back, sounds are back. So we did the first 3 steps of the first tetrad concerning the body. Next session we're going to learn how to calm the body. So this is what we're going to do throughout our tetrads. First 3 steps to research, study, get familiar, and last step to calm down. So I hope this was beneficial in any way, and I will be waiting for your comments and doubts. But we will be doing these same steps even until we get to the 16th and last step. So don't worry about that. As for now, just be kind to yourself. That concentration might not come at the beginning, and that's not a problem. We're just learning to progressively learn how to be aware of the body and the breathing at this early stage. And we're going to go deeper and deeper into the body and its different elements and the breathing as well. If you are concerned about where to put your hands, that's not very important either. I have not found any evidence of the Buddha laying down any specific recommendation for the hands. It is well known for some traditions to use one hand over the other one with the thumbs touching each other, and it's called the Samadhi Mudra or the concentration mudra. If you want to use it, you can use it. Sometimes I use it as a reminder, because when I lose my concentration or awareness, I find out that I'm pressing the thumbs against each other or they're getting away from each other. You can put your hands in here or the other way around if you want. So we did the first 3 steps, and I invite you to keep observing your breathing throughout the day, throughout your lesson. Just remember breathing in and out, how the body feels, and get familiar with it. Get to know your breathing. I see you next time.